first thing that you can do is recognize the fact that this happens to everybody and don't let it ruin your day. It's just a moment in your day. The next thing you can do is evaluate where the review was left, how they left the review, and is it something that you can contest? Hi, Grace Rosa here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about that bad review that you wish you could just make go away. So the first thing I want to tell you is that even the sweetest, most caring, most compassionate, wouldn't hurt a fly dentist is at some point in time likely to get a bad review. And when it happens, especially to that super compassionate person, it can feel devastating. So if you are an office manager or a team member and you've seen that your doctor has received a bad review and they seem a little bit on edge, just be there for them, because it's a difficult situation to be in. And at some point, we're all faced with that. Now, there's a few different types of reviews, and we need to think about how we handle the review in the context that it was given. So the first kind of review that I'm going to talk about today is the review that was given by an ex-employee or by I'm going to say someone who's a little off, maybe a patient who you've never actually seen before. So I'm going to call this an illegitimate review. It's an unfair public opinion that's been expressed about you by someone who isn't really qualified as a real patient to be writing about their experience with you. These are often, they often come off as angry. You can kind of tell that they're not a real patient if you critically review it. They're usually written in an alias name, so the person isn't really confident putting their name on this because they know they're not being honest, and it is intended to hurt you. So the first thing that you can do is recognize the fact that this happens to everybody and don't let it ruin your day. It's just a moment in your day. The next thing you can do is evaluate where the review was left, how they left the review, and is it something that you can contest? If it's got hateful speech in it, or if you can prove it to be false, and it's not just an opinion, but you can prove it to be false information, you may be able to contest the review and get it removed. Some platforms are a little bit more lenient than others on review removal, but lately, ever since Yelp has been on the scene, it seems like reviews are harder and harder to get removed. So there are a few things you can do. Now, the first thing you can do is lean back on your reputation, your intended reputation that you're building with your brand that I talked about in an earlier video, and reconsider what that is. Have an active program in place where you can generate positive reviews in multiple forms on multiple platforms, meaning written reviews, reviews with patient photos on your website, and video testimonials are very, very powerful. If you make it a practice to consistently build positive reviews, that one illegitimate, crazy, bad review isn't going to matter too much because it's going to be buried by positive reviews. So unfortunately, you got to let it go, keep moving forward, and focus on the positive. The next kind of review we're going to talk about is the legitimate, not so great review that may have a little bit of truth to it, but of course you don't want to hear it. So this is when a patient calls you to tell you that, or leaves a public review to tell you that you've done something bad or wrong, or they don't appreciate something about you. Unfortunately, we live in a world where people love to complain and spew negativity. If you get a review like this, I'm going to talk to you exactly how to handle it. So I was working with a client for several years, and they had reached out to us for advice on how to build up their online reputation. Every month or so, I would talk to the office manager and I would remind her the importance of asking for reviews and generating reviews. I even gave her a few strategies on how to get these positive reviews, both with a card that she could hand to patients or a text that could go out either automatically or manually after every patient visit. We talked through these strategies, but she truly felt that if she asked for reviews, she was bound to get negative reviews, whereas if she just kept quiet, that she wouldn't have to deal with that in the future. Well, we had this conversation for several months in a row, and she continued to really fight my recommendation to generate positive reviews for whatever her reasons were. She called me one afternoon and she said, "Grace, we got our first review." And I said, "Congratulations, that's great to hear." She said, not so much. This review is all about the doctor's nose hairs. and I couldn't believe what she was telling me. The review was actually a 3 or 4 star review. I don't even think it was 1 star, but the patient went into great detail about how disgusting the doctor's nose hairs were and how could she trust him with her cosmetic dentistry when he didn't take care of his own personal appearance. Now, the review was ridiculous. It was completely uncalled for. It served no purpose. And so the office manager asked, Grace, I am going to respond. I drafted this response. What do you think I should do? I said, well, do you know who the patient is? She said, yeah, we actually have a pretty good relationship with her. I said, call her, thank her for her feedback, and ask her politely to remove the review. She did, and the patient removed the review, and it was no longer an issue. Sometimes we have to let our feelings calm down around the subject, and we have to move forward in a way that we feel is best for the business and best for our brand, for our long-term brand. So do what you can to deal with the illegitimate, sometimes crazy reviews, and sometimes the unnecessary negative feedback that people really shouldn't be sharing publicly, but use all of these experiences to make you stronger, whether it propels you into being excited about generating positive reviews, or it allows you to resolve a problem that you didn't know existed. Let these difficult experiences push you forward. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a great day.